Hello everybody, this is Miss Cress, and today I'm going to be reading you What's the Recipe for Friends by Greg Williamson, illustrated by Greg Abel. What's the recipe for friends? When Freddie and his family moved to a new town, he got to bring his frog, Fernandez. But he did have to leave his old house, his old school, and his old friends behind. Freddie and his family moved into a nice new home. He got to see his new school. It was cool, but one thing made Freddie worry. Will I make friends? Freddie asked his mom. Of course, she told him. I don't know if the kids in class will like me though, and I don't know how to make new friends, Freddie explained. Then I'll show you the recipe for friends, his mom answered. I'll look for it while you and Fernandez unpack your toys. In his room, Freddie sat with Fernandez and felt confused. How will a recipe help me make friends, he thought to himself. What would the ingredients be? How would I mix them together? Do I bake it? Do I cook it? But all Fernandez said was, ribbit, ribbit. Freddie thought about the recipes that he knew. He could make macaroni and cheese. First, his mom put water in the pot, and it got hot on the stove. Next, Freddie got to pour in the whole box of noodles. When the noodles were cooked, his mom poured them in a special big bowl with little holes in them. The bowl let the water go down the drain, but not the noodles. Then it was Freddie's job to put in a big spoonful of butter, a cupful of milk, and a packet of cheese. Last, Freddie stirred it all up, and the macaroni and cheese was done. He could almost taste it now. Freddie still wanted to know, what's the recipe for friends? Can I really make friends? Will my mom find it? But all Fernandez said was, ribbit, ribbit. Freddie knew that the recipe for chocolate chip cookies, too. His mom mixed in 2 big scoops of flour with a big scoop of sugar. Next, Freddie cracked open 2 eggs and dropped them in. Then he dropped in a whole stick of butter. The last ingredient was a big bag of chocolate chips. Once these went in, Freddie stirred it all up. After that, he scooped spoonfuls of dough onto the cookie sheet one by one. When he was done, his mom put them in the oven to bake. He could almost smell them baking. Freddie still wanted to know, what's the recipe for friends? Will my mom ever find it? But all Fernandez said was, ribbit, ribbit. When Freddie's mom finally called him for lunch, Freddie and Fernandez hopped full speed down the stairs. A smile slowly spread across his face when he saw a big cookbook in his mom's hands. The words quickly shot from Freddie's mouth. Do you have it? Is it really the recipe for friends? It is, his mom said, and I think I have all the ingredients. Freddie couldn't wait to find out the ingredients. Tell me, what do I use? He asked anxiously. Well, it looks like we'll need ingredients like politeness, kindness, and sharing. Now Freddie was really confused. He was sure that things like politeness, kindness, and sharing didn't come in a box, carton, or jar. How could they be used in a recipe? But his mom was always right, so he listened as she read. The first ingredient is a spoonful of kindness. But where do I find kindness? Freddie asked. You have it inside you, dear. I've seen you use it. Just think. Freddie thought. Like when I say nice things or do nice things for other people? He wondered out loud. That's right, his mom said. The next ingredient is a big scoop of politeness. A scoop of polite? Freddie asked. Do you mean like when I say please or thank you or when I listen without interrupting? Right again, Fred's mom said. You also need 2 cups of sharing. I get it, Freddie announced. I share my ball at the park and I share my markers at school. Yes, and don't forget a pinch of taking turns, his mom reminded. Like on the swings or when I play video games? You've got it, said Mom. But there are some ingredients that could spoil the recipe, like teasing, hitting, whining, tattling, or complaining. Try not to let those get mixed into the recipe. Freddie was excited about using all his ingredients when school started. That weekend seemed to last forever. When school finally started on Monday, Freddie used all of his ingredients all day long, listening to students tell about their summers, cheering for his team at lunch, and when the day ended, he walked home alone. Tuesday came and Freddie was following the recipe's directions, waiting his turn at the fountain, sharing his cookies at lunch. But after school, Freddie sat with his only friend, Fernandez. I wonder if this recipe really makes friends. I don't have any yet. I'll mix in even more ingredients tomorrow. Wednesday was waiting and Freddie was ready, being polite, kind, and sharing all day long. But after the school bell, Freddie's walk home was all alone. It seemed even farther. Even Fernando hopping down the driveway didn't cheer him up. He could hear everyone else having fun. As he opened the door, his mom was already asking, "How was your day?" He had to tell how he really felt. "Mom, I'm using all the ingredients you told me, but I'm not making any friends." "Don't give up yet," his mom said. "I'm sure you'll have friends before you know it." On Thursday, he still used all the ingredients, but he was starting to think about the long walk home. Just then, a boy named Billy walked up and said, "You live in that new house right by me. We can walk home after school." Could it be? Could the recipe really be working? Friday, Freddie had a lot more fun following the recipe. After lunch, he noticed a note on his desk. "Freddie, do you want to come over and play with me and Joey?" From Billy. The recipe really did work. Freddie made new friends. The end.